Why do people suddenly lose interest? The moment you become available. Why is it that the more you want someone, the less they seem to want you back? And why, the moment you start pulling away, they come running? This isn't random. It's psychology. And it's driven by one powerful mechanism: the desire for what feels just out of reach. In relationships, attraction doesn't grow from certainty. It grows from tension, from uncertainty, from the feeling that something could be lost. And the moment that tension disappears, so does the desire. Today, we're breaking down the psychology behind one of the most frustrating dynamics in human behavior. Why people want what they can't have. The first reason people want what they can't have is something psychology calls the scarcity principle. The human brain is wired to assign more value to what feels rare. Not necessarily better. Not necessarily healthier. Just harder to get. Think about it. The moment something becomes limited, its perceived value increases. And the moment it becomes easily available, its value drops. This doesn't just apply to products or opportunities. It applies to people. When someone feels emotionally available all the time, always responding, always present, always choosing you, there's no uncertainty, no tension, no risk of loss. And without that, the brain stops chasing. Because desire is not built on certainty. It's built on perceived value. And value increases with scarcity. The second reason people want what they can't have is uncertainty. When something is unpredictable, your brain pays more attention. It becomes alert, curious, even obsessed. Because uncertainty triggers dopamine, the same chemical linked to anticipation, reward, and addiction. And here's where it gets interesting. Dopamine isn't released when you get what you want. It's released when you're waiting. When you're unsure. When you think you might get it, but you're not certain. That's why inconsistent behavior can feel more attractive than consistency. One day they're warm. The next day they pull away. And suddenly, you're thinking about them more. Not because they're better, but because your brain is trying to solve the uncertainty. The less predictable they are, the harder your brain tries to understand them. And that creates emotional investment. Because when something feels unclear, your mind doesn't let go. It keeps coming back. The third reason people want what they can't have is the chase. As humans, we don't just want things. We want to feel like we've earned them. When something comes too easily, the brain doesn't register it as valuable. But when you have to work for it, wait for it, risk losing it, it suddenly becomes meaningful. Because effort creates emotional attachment. The more energy you invest into someone, the harder it becomes to let them go. That's why people often value relationships more when they had to chase, pursue, or prove themselves. Not because the person is better, but because they invested more. We don't just fall for people. We fall for the effort we put into them. And the moment there's no effort required, the emotional attachment weakens. Because nothing was at stake. So when you ask, why people want what they can't have, it's not because they enjoy the pain. It's because the human brain is wired to value what feels rare, what feels uncertain, and what feels earned. Remove those elements, and desire often fades. Not because the connection wasn't real, but because the psychology behind it changed. This is where most people get it wrong. They think attraction grows from giving more, being more available, being easier to access. But in reality, that's often what makes the feeling disappear. Because attraction isn't built on comfort alone. It's built on tension, curiosity, and emotional investment. So the question is, are you making it easy to be chosen, or valuable enough to be wanted?